Hey, Team Works. This is Coach Steve. So a Works member asked me if some other people asked me about the Spartan experience since my EA provided us all those race codes. Um, yeah, so Spartan race is basically it's basically a course where there's running and there's obstacles in between. So for a sprint, I'll just break them down. So I did all three races: sprint, super, beast. So I'll go for the sprints. For sprint is basically a 5K with obstacles in between. Obstacles can range from some type of American Ninja Warrior. Some are pretty easier, like jumping over a wall or climbing a bucket or a tide carry. They all vary. There's usually standard ones, but they all switch up during the year. The super is basically the supers you'll see on the website blue is basically a 10K. So it's anywhere between 6 miles to 10 miles, and then there's more obstacles in between. So this one's intermediate, so it's a little harder. And then the beast, which is the one that's basically almost a half marathon. So it's anywhere between 13 to 15 miles with obstacles in between. So people always ask me like, hey, they don't think they're in shape for it and stuff. Like, hey, like, there's no pressure doing a Spartan race. It's called a Spartan race. But honestly, it's just a good time. It's just a good adventure. I would say the race portion comes in when it's if you do the elite races, which you see in the beginning of the event at each Spartan race around the country, is you start with the elites and they get sponsored and such and such. But the ones that we'll probably be doing is more general. And then the general, you can go at your own speed. It's really up to you. When I started doing Spartan races, I did it with a group of friends, and I do it every year with my wife, and we have a good time. And we're not really necessarily aiming for the top score. We just want to have a good time and be in shape. A lot of these races, you meet a lot of great people. It's a lot of great views, and it's just a way to challenge yourself and do something that's exciting. Something a little on edge. So don't be afraid if you feel like you're not in shape to do it. You're in shape to do it. In terms of the rules per se, when you do the general race, which a lot of us will be doing, especially the works coaches on November 7th, will be doing it. The referees don't enforce the rules. They say, hey, these are the rules, but you can choose to abide them. If you don't want to do an obstacle, you can go right by it. You can go right by and keep it moving. Um, but if you want to stick with the rules, then yeah, then if you don't complete an obstacle, you do the penalty, whether that is burpees or some of them have like you have to run a couple of laps or something like that. In terms of how this differs between marathon running and stuff, well, you're not really running the whole time. So I'm just speaking for sprint, the whole 5K, the whole time. Like there's like 20 some obstacles. You're gonna stop, so you're not gonna just continue to run. The reason why I like Spartan races is because running to me it's just not as exciting as going running and getting through something you don't expect, or challenging yourself mentally or something like that. So it's a great time. I made a lot of friends. I see people there. I see all the time, and it's a great time. So my advice to you is, I would get into shape of it. And the one thing I would say about like the Spartan race, which is really helpful in my fitness, is that it's something to work towards. To you don't want to go to a Spartan race too out of shape. So especially for me as an athlete in high school, I always had something to train for, a game, something such. Then when college came, I really didn't have, it was my studies, but I didn't really have nothing fitness to work towards it because back in high school, it was just like, okay, this game, this championship, this playoffs and stuff like that. But now with Spartan race, I have something to really feel that, to really, challenge myself and really work towards. So like when I know when summer comes around, like, everybody wants to get their, summer body, that motivates me too. But what really motivates me is doing really well in that Spartan race. So, but yeah, so I just thought I should give a short 5 minute video. I got about 45 seconds about how the Spartan race is. Don't be scared. It's a great time. Everybody out there is very supportive. Like even when like somebody gets hurt or somebody's tired, you'd be surprised how many people out there will help and pick you up and keep you going throughout the course. So my advice to you is come join. Me, Carol are still doing OCR training here and there. And the pandemic, when the pandemic rules start to dissipate a little bit, we will do more outdoors, and you're more than welcome to join. And if you have any questions, my Facebook, Stephen Gary Watson Jr. Come hit me up or check out, send me a message on my YouTube channel. But anyways, teamwork, let's go. Spartan race, let's kill us this year.